D-Rock Irish wants to know what the toughest stretch in Nebraska's season is. I don't know if you've got it pulled up there. I'll set you.
Yeah, go ahead, set me up.
Yeah, I'll set you up this way. Of course, they lead off with Illinois on the road. They've got a bye week very early because it's that odd scheduling because of the intended trip overseas to play Illinois. Buffalo's not going to be an easy game. That's a MAC game, but it's against what's been the better team in the MAC, a MAC contending team for the last few years. Then at Oklahoma, at Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan, at Minnesota. That's certainly not easy.
No.
With a bye week, then Purdue, okay, Ohio State, Southeastern Louisiana, at Wisconsin, Iowa. So for me, I'll start here. And Greg, again, until you find it there, I know it's kind of difficult to remember all those names consecutively, but I tell you, I'm going to attach Buffalo onto this because Buffalo's been a top-notch team in the MAC for the last 3 or 4 years. So Buffalo before Oklahoma, to not look ahead to Oklahoma when playing Buffalo at home, and then coming off of Oklahoma, having to travel to Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan, Minnesota. That's a rough 6 games in a row there.
Yeah, the whole thing's murder row, really. I mean, you don't really get any let-ups, and it starts, in week 0 that you've got a conference game, so and a road game at that. So that's critical right there to get off to a good start. You got to win that first game and, start building some momentum so that you can get into those tougher parts of the schedule. And, I'm going to go with that last, if I have to pick it in 4 chunks, I'm going to go with those last 4 games, that include Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Iowa. That's not going to be easy. And if you can't win one of those games, then you're not even in. You're not in the race at all. So we'll see how it drops. Because if they do start off the season, with a good record and playing well, and we'll see what they're made of right there with those games right there.
Yes, it certainly would be nice. It wouldn't be accomplishing much because they should beat Illinois even on the road and beat a MAC opponent, Buffalo, but they almost definitely need to go to Oklahoma at 2-0.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to be competitive in that game, because we've talked about this game already, that this is Oklahoma. This is their year. I mean, if they're going to break through and Lincoln Riley is going to win a national title, they're set up for it right now, aren't they? I mean, they probably got the best quarterback in the nation coming back, and they started playing some defense here lately. So, I mean, Nebraska is going to have to come in there 2-0 and not be intimidated at all by Oklahoma. And that's what's going to be interesting as well, because they have a head coach, they have a running back coach, they have an offensive line coach, they have a linebackers coach that have all played in that series, that have all played Oklahoma and know what that rivalry is all about. So I think that's what's going to be really interesting when we get to Oklahoma week. And if Nebraska is 2-0 and they're believing that they're back and that they can play, I think that makes this game very, very interesting, in an early game. And you know what, too, I forget to mention, that week 0 game at Illinois, all eyes are going to be on Nebraska because there's nothing else going on that week. And that's a conference game, so that's probably going to be your primetime game that week 0 Saturday or Friday of the season. So, yeah.
Absolutely, it will be. Again, that's Nebraska at Illinois on August 28th. And then, again, they got a bye week before they dive into a game against Buffalo. And, man, I got to say that beat Illinois, Buffalo, go to Oklahoma. Let's assume the loss. You're 2-1. Then 4 games before a bye against Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan, Minnesota. Those are all winnable games, but they're all losable games too.
Right.
Of course, the Northwestern and Minnesota games, being division games, are more important. But let's say they can go 2-2, split those 4, and having beaten Illinois, then they go to Purdue, or they face Purdue at home. Should, again, it's not a give me, but should beat Purdue, then you're 4-2 in conference, and that's pretty strong. And you steal one of the final 3, like you mentioned, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa, and they finish 5-4 in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that happening. You can definitely see that happening. And I keep looking at that Oklahoma game. That I think we all assume that that's a loss. But if you can compete in that game and show that you belong out there on a field with a team like that, I think that goes a long way down the road to helping you go to play Michigan and play Ohio State here and go to Michigan State. So I think that's going to help out a lot.
Joseph, we appreciate the compliment. And again, we would like everybody to head on out there on social media, whether it be Twitter or Facebook, and please share the links to the videos, and let's get a larger crowd in here. And I'll say, to Greg's point about everybody's just chalking up Oklahoma's going to win the game. And yes, should they win the game? Would they win the game 9 out of 10 times? Yes, but there's the one time. And I'm no odds maker, no handicapper, but I keep track of those kind of things, and it's fun, and I like to watch those things. And there are double-digit upsets in college football almost every week, number one. Number two, I've really narrowed in on the top 25 games, and about close to 25% of them are upsets. And, Army went to Norman, Oklahoma a couple of years ago, and they took Oklahoma to overtime.
Wasn't that double overtime, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anybody, any given day, anybody can beat anybody. It's the thing that I've noticed over the years that I think most people would, is that, there's a lot more talented teams out there. There's so many more talented players out there, number one, and, it's brought parity to college football when, you look at the top 25 in 2020 and compare that to the top 25 in 1980. I bet that's night and day with teams that are in there, and teams that are missing that used to be mainstays in there, and other teams that you would have never imagined that could crack a top 25 or a top 10. So yeah, it's different these days.
Yeah, Nebraska, of course, in Scott Frost's first year, went to Columbus, Ohio, and that team from Ohio State finished in the top 3 in the nation, which they pretty much do every year, and Nebraska played them right down to the wire. So, yes, you never know.
Yeah, and that last comment there, I agree 100%. I've never seen Nebraska as big as this either. I mean, it's impressive to see. I mean, I would like to see, the elderly couple at the hotel entrance when the team bus arrives and the team gets off the bus and walks into the lobby, and I'm sure their jaws would drop just seeing the massive human beings walking past them.